Welcome to the Prado Museum. We're here again a few moments before the museum's opens. We're returning with our weekly sessions in English, thanks to the ongoing invitation from the museum's social media programming, and thanks to the supporters of the Friends of the Prado. We are a nonprofit here that we love this museum and try to help it in every way possible, and we encourage you to find out about us so how we can help more this wonderful museum, who we all know have collections that are amazingly filled with quality and importance. And today we're going to see a work by Rafael. Rafael, known and famous of the high Renaissance in Italy, along with a traditional triumvirate, Rafael, Leonardo da Vinci, and Michelangelo. These works by Rafael are quite actually over 6 on view and more within the collection, and these came here during the time of the monarchy of Philip IV, whose art collecting passion has definitely made an amazing mark on the Prado's collection. Rafael was very successful during his lifetime and the following centuries, as he was extremely cultured, born into the cultured Duchy of Urbino, and had a lifelong dedication to study. So he was continually learning and improving and learning from all of the influences around him. It's also famous that he had really great social skills and manners, that he moved well within the highest circles. And so he was able to move from the area of Urbino and Perugia to Florence, to eventually be called to Rome and work for Pope Julius II and Pope Leo X, at a time where amazing changes are happening in Rome and in the Vatican, both architecturally and artistically, and he is one of the promoters and artifices of this change, along with, at the same time, of Michelangelo's Sixtine Chapel. What we have here we're going to look at a work that is famously called the Pearl of the collection historically, and it's also the Holy Family. There is a legend that King Philip IV, when he received this painting, he called it the Pearl of his collection, and from thence on it has been with this nickname. So this was painted probably in the first 1 or 2 years before Raphael's early death. He died in 1520, and he was just 37 years old. So this is just a few years ahead of time. He had painted Madonnas and the Holy Families in different versions throughout his career, and he was making variations on the composition in each one. Here, he had the influence in his painting of his master of Perugino, who had very light, a beautiful light technique in his painting, and he keeps this technique, but he comes into contact with Leonardo in Florence, where he adds monumentality to his figures, and he makes them more dynamic and complex, the compositions. He also learns Leonardo's sfumato at the same time that he keeps the clear light. So he's incorporating everything and learning from everybody and actually improving on his masters. Not all of them, but he's making wonderful compositions. And with the Holy Family of the Pearl, he had learned from Leonardo the composition of a pyramid, which was very stable and gives serenity and a sense of beauty. But here from the pyramid, he moves into a more trapezoidal geometric composition, with the hierarchy being marked with the Virgin Mary at the top of the geometric figure and baby Jesus in the center. So this is the first hierarchy, and then they are accompanied by little John the Baptist and an elderly woman that the art historians, as I researched this painting, there's some that promote that it's Saint Isabel, which is the mother of John the Baptist, and some that believe it's Saint Anne, who would be the mother of the Virgin, and so the grandmother of Jesus. And either way, it's beautiful composition where the Virgin is in her monumental figure. She's in a contrapposto, which is also influenced by Michelangelo and the contrappostos in the Sixtine Chapel, which of course Rafael is homaging in many cases. She's in this contrapposto, and her legs are right. The one on the right is open to the right, and the left is open over to this area to the left. She's lovingly holding baby Jesus in her lap, who seems happy and wants to play. And then she's also lovingly has her arm around the figure of Saint Anne or Saint Isabel, who is kind of in this position with her head resting on her fist, very reminiscent of another figure by Michelangelo of Jeremiah, and he's very grave in the Sixtine Chapel, and she's the only one here prefiguring in a somber way the passion, the future passion of baby Jesus. She's also kneeling down, and we can see her foot in the background, and she's leaning on the Virgin Mary. All these figures are set within a landscape where Rafael wonderfully uses this beautiful basket to elevate the figure of the baby Jesus to make him the center. And then the landscape that opens up onto two scenes where we have Saint Joseph. We can't forget about him in the Holy Family, but here he's relegated a little bit to the background, probably with the excuse that he's working in his carpentry. And it opens up to a beautiful light in the distance, giving us the distance and landscape behind Saint Joseph. And on the right hand at the top, we have some classical architecture buildings, another landscape with a river, some figures here with a cart that are pulling merchandise in different areas. And it opens up also onto a beautiful either dawn or dusk lighting, which just gives a wonderful atmosphere to the whole composition of the Holy Family. This painting was commissioned by Ludovico Canosa, and from then pursued and entered only into the most amazing collections, only the finest collections. From there it was in the Duke of Mantua's collection, from the Duke of Mantua to King Charles I of England. And when he fell, was up for sale and entered into Philip IV's collection here in Spain, and where he put it into the sacristy of the monastery of El Escorial as a devotional figure painting. When Joseph Bonaparte was king of Spain for 10 years during the Napoleonic invasion, afterwards he loved it so much he sent it to France. Luckily for Spain and the Prado Museum, it was sent back. And even when the museum opened 200 years ago, these works by Rafael were in the principal galleries. And here they are today in the main gallery downstairs, and another reason to visit the wonderful Prado Museum. And we thank you so much for being with us today. We encourage you to find out more about Friends of the Prado Museum and Amigos of the Prado Museum. We're two institutions that support this wonderful collection, and we also encourage you to find out more about the wonderful artistic heritage here. Thank you very much, and we'll see you next week.